Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. It's been 2 weeks since San Fran. Definitely missing the vibes in the studio. But I'll definitely make it out there soon. Had a pretty great weekend. Your boy turned 34 a week ago.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank
Even
you,
though I already
brother.
told you before, but birthday for everyone to hear.
Yeah. I appreciate it. It was great, man. It was everything I wanted to be. Super chilled. I had back-to-back weeks of exhaustion with San Fran, and then I was in Dallas the week before, so it was just nice to be home, taking in the vibes. The backyard was lit. Had some friends come over for like a wine night. Went to the beach to just chill. It's like, dude, honestly, everything I wanted. There's one restaurant we went to, though. The food, I built up the food because I was really in the mood for some bomb Italian food, bro. Mm-hmm. And like the kitchen just had a bad night, and I was just like, fuck. That was the only kink in the armor of the whole overall weekend. But overall, a phenomenal weekend, man. So definitely
nice,
said
man.
about that. But
wait, sorry. When you said the kitchen had a bad night, like the food was coming out late, or like the food just didn't hit as good, or
the food didn't hit, bro. Like, and it's not because it was an Italian restaurant. I was really in the mood for Italian. I had bomb ass Italian in San Francisco. Anyone's ever there, go check out this place called Mid 54. Right?
Oh yeah, thanks for that recommendation, by the way.
It was bomb, right?
Well, yeah, it was bomb.
It was bomb, dude. Yeah. So I had that in my mind, like, bro, I need to recreate this flavor, soon. So I was like, let me go for Italian, and bro, like, they brought out carbonara that was like clearly not what a carbonara should like look like or even taste like. And then also like Gina got this penne alla vodka, which is obviously, it's meant to be a little bit more like pink and like spicy.
Yeah.
Not even close. Chicken was burnt. I was just like, bro, like I've been to this restaurant honestly, like, dude, I would say in my lifetime, like a good 10, 12 times. So I know the food's good.
Wow.
So
okay.
I'm like, bro, it's fine. You could have a bad night. It sucks. It's on my birthday, but the appetizers were good. The wine was good, and the dessert was dope. So like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
nice. And at least you had the whole weekend to like have other good moments.
Yeah. We ate good the whole weekend. Wings, pizza, like, bro, all this shit that you're like, oh, it's fine. It's my birthday weekend. Can't get mad, kind of a thing. And we still worked out, so we didn't gain like 400 pounds. So that was good, bro. But how about you, bro? How about mentally getting prepared for Korea next week? How long is that trip gonna be?
That trip is gonna be, I think, like 9 days total, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe like 10 if you include traveling and stuff. But
officially off the entire time, though, or they're gonna try to sneak in some work?
So that's funny that you asked. That's kind of been a stressor of mine. Long story short, my boss has been out for a sabbatical. She's had some like issues at home that she wanted to take care of. So she's been out for 2 months, and I scheduled this trip on my calendar, which is what I normally do. Like, at least in other companies, I check the calendar. If no one else on my team is out, I send a calendar invite to my manager. And if they approve that invite, that means I have like authority to book the flight. I can put it in the system or whatever if I need to after the fact. So I ended up sending that calendar invite, of course, booked the flight. And it wasn't until like a week or so ago, my boss's boss, who was filling in, was like, hey, don't forget to put any vacation you might have already had in the system. Low-key, I was hoping my boss, I was hoping she just wouldn't ever remember when she eventually returned.
Sure.
I only get I only get like 10 days a year, which, at least for me, I'm not used to that. That's like nothing. People in Europe like laugh at people like me who only have 10 days.
10 days is wild, bro. Like, not for nothing, 10 days is wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially when I went to the Italy wedding, I had like German people saying paternity leave can be like 5 years and all kinds of shit. And I'm like, here, look at my clown ass, begging for fucking 11 days or whatever.
Did you have to work in Italy to like start saving some days?
No, because I thought I wasn't gonna have to report it.
Got it.
Thought it was gonna slide by. So I mean, that's my fault. But in any case, he realized that he didn't even look at the calendar invite, so he didn't realize I was gone for like a full work week. And he's like, the holidays, it's gonna be busy, like blah blah blah. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, bro, I sent the invite, like I get it, I should have put it in the system, but it seemed like he wasn't really paying attention. And I get it. Like people at that level have all kinds of shit going on.
Sure.
They don't necessarily have the time to care. But in any case, I think it's all solved now. I'm trying to see if I can work out a system where I work a few hours here and there and don't have to log it as PTO, because my boss, I guess, in the past has told me I could do that. So we'll see. But yeah, I haven't really prepared for it. Outside of that, I'm sick today. So I'm glad I'm sick now and not in like 7 days. Yeah. I woke up with like a shitty sore throat. Not COVID though. I tested like twice, so otherwise I'm good.
Damn, bro. Yeah, you can't get sick before Korea. I mean, it's obviously a week away, so I'm sure even if you had something right now, you'd be fine. But yeah, let's put that out into the universe. Like that cannot happen, bro. Like that cannot happen.
I know. I'd be so pissed.
You've been before, you said?
Yeah, I've been twice.
Nice.
Once right after college, and then once with my wife, 2014 or 2012 or 13, one of those years.
Now, is this trip right now going to be a family trip though, or just you two of you?
Just us two, and then actually Alex, who you know, wanted to tag along.
Yes,
so,
you told me that. Yeah.
So he'll be there. But we're gonna visit some of my in-laws out there.
Nice.
And then outside of that, just relax. I have a friend out there as well, and so does she. So we'll visit them for a few days, and then other than that, just wanted to get a trip in that wasn't Mexico, because we've been going to Mexico nonstop for the past like 2 years.
Yeah, I mean literally twice this year. So yeah, no, I feel you, dude. Traveling's everything. Yep. So definitely enjoy that, bro. Can't wait to hear about it. But we'll knock out a couple episodes for everyone before then, including this one, episode 122. I feel like the biggest thing in the news since I was there 2 weeks ago has become even bigger, which is Ye, formerly known as Kanye West. So this episode's called Ye Loses His Stripes, because since our episode, every major endorsement or partnership he has cut the deal to a certain extent with him. I guess Adidas being the biggest one. They were getting the most pressure recently as we record this episode on October 26th. I mean, this only happened yesterday, October 25th. And they were saying because it's just a massive German company, which I think was founded by the Nazi, or at least the members were Nazis initially.
Oh, wow.
Listen, yeah, they're like, bro, we can't do this right now. But their language is super, like, it's not clear cut that, like, he's still not on the payroll to a certain extent. So that was a little bit confusing. But all in all, a crazy time in the world that is Kanye West, also known as Ye. So your thoughts, man, on obviously how things have developed and changed in these last 2 weeks has been like just nonstop Kanye news.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I can't say I'm super surprised, especially considering the past couple interviews that I've seen of him that have come out since, his original tweet. I think I would have been more surprised if the tweet alone just caused everything to come down. But the more and more I hear Kanye, the more and more he's not backing down, and the more he does genuinely seem like he's basically anti-Semitic. So
yeah, I feel like he's not though, bro. That's like,
yeah,
he's giving off the vibe of like the shit we would say about Trump offline.
Yeah,
it's like, bro, there's no way you believe this shit, bro. Like,
I mean, I'm conflicted. Like, so I don't know if he necessarily has some evil plot to like get rid of Jews or do anything crazy. I think it's more so he's annoyed at the 10 or 11 people that he's worked with in the past that fucked him over. But I think he's just taking it to the extreme of being like, we have our own Holocaust and this and that. I think he still has some sort of resentment that like, maybe someone who doesn't hate black people might say, like,
sure,
calling some people ghetto or whatever the case is. So I don't think he's like full on anti-Semitic Nazi salute type level, but I think he definitely is showing his true colors about those executives and conveniently making it about their, I guess, ethnicity, because I don't think they treat it as just a religion. But
Sure.
it seems like he's really, hammering down on the fact that, like the Jews are responsible for it, all the bad shit taking place, at least in America.
Yeah. But really, it's his life. And then I feel like it feels convenient that he's making it now like a bigger anti-black thing, when it's like, this feels super inconvenient for you. And now you want everyone to be like, oh, help me, blah, blah, blah. Like, what about blah? So like, that's the weird part to me. But I did watch the Lex Friedman interview?
Yeah, Lex Friedman.
Dude, great interview. Never even heard the guy beforehand. So a little research on him before. Dude, 2.5 hours long. I feel like that helped to give me more context because I never got a chance to see the Drink Champs interview before they took it down. But I know that one was super wild from like the clips on TikTok that are still up. So just comparing those two interviews from where he was mentally, we can say, or what he was voicing a week ago to what he was voicing 2 days ago in that interview. Like, at least for me, again, I didn't see the full Drink Champs interview. For me though, it felt slightly different from how he was sounding, a week and a half ago. And I don't know if that has to do with the money being, him, with the people saying that he's fumbling the bag, he's just trying to like save. But it didn't feel like he was trying to save any of those relationships still on this interview. It just felt like, I think he just, I don't know, maybe he wasn't drunk, bro. That also probably helped him.
I think that's why, he definitely felt more serious. Granted, like Lex Friedman isn't, a rapper or some Fox News host who just wants, a clickbaity title and is going to ask you like weird shit. I think that's why when it came to like the anti-Semitic stuff, this particular interview seemed like, oh shit, he's serious, because there was a point, and I don't know if you saw it towards the end, where Kanye basically snapped on him,
bro. On him.
And Lex Friedman's like the nicest person on the planet. I didn't even know he was Jewish, but the fact that he like did it to him almost made me feel like, damn, like Kanye really doesn't give a fuck. Because I could see myself talking shit to, these Fox News hosts and other people who like, quote unquote, can't be trusted. But to Lex Friedman, I thought he would kind of give him that respect, even when Lex, wanted to call him out on his inconsistencies, aka bullshit.
Right.
But then Kanye just went full and was like, I don't trust you, like basically fuck you.
You're doing everything they were all doing. But then it did come back around, and like they had a funny moment where like Lex is like, I love you, brother. And he's like,
and he said, I like you.
Yeah. Like that was funny. And just like a reminder that I don't think Kanye is crazy, bro, by any means. Like there's just like subtle things he was saying, like humorous nuances that you're like, bro, like a crazy person isn't doing this, bro. But what I would say, bro, like what came out to me out of that entire interview is like, dude, he just seemed like a really like hurt kid. Like when I say, and I mean kid, like a child, because I took that point where he had that awkward, like I would say like 5 minutes, bro. It wasn't like a large portion, but that awkward 5 minute with Lex, he's like, nah, I don't trust you. And you want me to apologize, and I'm not fucking apologizing for the 800th time. I feel like that was like a kid being reprimanded and just like fed up of being told like, no, you're wrong, and just fucking snapped. Because for the most part, throughout that entire 2.5 hour interview, bro, he was calm. Like it was only those 5 minutes that he really just fucking snapped. And I think it's because Lex wouldn't let go. It's like, bro, you didn't apologize. Your apology sucked. And like, you can't, and this is what I agreed with the most, bro, not just Lex, but everyone's take. Bro, you can't stereotype people, because the moment you stereotype someone, it's already going to be a negative connotation to it. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't do that. So that's why I loved his point, because I would never have thought of saying it, this being Lex, like, bro, you're mad at like individuals, so call them out. You can't just fucking paint a brush and say, all Dominicans, who drink beer are fucking blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, whoa, relax, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So, and obviously whatever Kanye is saying is way worse than that. So obviously I feel like the public should react in some progressive way to an aggressive comment. So but that was a pretty interesting take from Lex. I appreciate it. But yeah, dude, for the most part, my biggest takeaway of Kanye was like, yo, you just seem hurt, bro. And I don't know what it is. Like, if it's a bad deal, if it's the Kardashian stuff, and he's just like heartbroken. He lost out in his, the woman of his dreams. He's not going to be at home with his kids anymore. But it just seems someone who's just super sad and in pain. But then it's also like, bro, he's doing like all these interviews the way a rapper would do if he's about to drop an album. Because in my mind, I'm also like, bro, what are you promoting? Like, why are you even doing all this, bro? So like, is it just because you want to blow everything up and you feel like you'll be able to pick up the pieces how you want to and like be in control? Like, that's what it feels like. Because otherwise I'm like, bro, why are we even hearing from you like this, bro? Like, you don't have an album coming out. There's no movie. There's no Yeezy shoe coming out that we need to know about and go stand in line to. Like, why are we even hearing from you, bro? So that was like the more, again, not like everyone can do a one-off interview, bro. Like, it is what it is. But like, this is like a run. It's like every day we're getting 2 or 3. And it's like, bro, like, why? Like, this is a lot, dude. Like, I feel like anyone would sound fucking crazy after a while. You're like, bro, like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah, it does seem very spontaneous and random. I do agree with you. I could never get on board with his explanation for generalizing Jews, just because I know I've heard it. People do that with Black people all the time. Like, well, who's committing the most crimes in the area? Like, it just so happens to be 70% Black or whatever the case, with like zero context as to why that might be. Obviously, people in power in general have a high propensity to be shitty people because they have so much power. Right. And it's not because, Jews are just inherently evil people. And I think that's, unfortunately, the idiots are going to hear Kanye not be able to separate the two. And that's why you have people in LA doing like Nazi salutes on the freeway, saying Kanye's right, which is insane to think about, because I didn't think it would go that far.
Right. But, kudos to him, at least, for making it very clear, like, anything I say needs to be taken in a non-violent approach. So that was
right.
I wish he wasn't smiling when he said it, though.
Right. Yeah. And also, it's kind of tricky because even if you do say non-violence, like, that still could empower people to do the Nazi salute and say fuck Jews, but not actually do anything. I think it's still gonna, fuel the fire, and eventually somebody's gonna get pissed off and do something stupid. But in terms of my theory of this being spontaneous, the only thing I can think of is, he keeps wearing the 2024 hat and alluding to running for president and stuff. So I think he's just trying to get his name out there early. I think being president is like the last thing he can possibly conquer on this earth before he's basically like, all right, now I'm God. I've done everything I've wanted to do in life. And for some reason,
like, you think it's like a bit of a God complex? Like, he just wants to go full spectrum on it? I think he called himself the prophet a couple times. Yeah.
He's conquered rap already. He's done it in fashion. And then being the leader of the free world is basically beneath God, like the highest position one can say they've attained. So I think he just really wants that. And the only thing that no one else has done in a campaign like this is basically call out the Jews, which I think the far right extremely has an extreme distaste for. And
but would never say it publicly, though.
Oh, we'll never say it publicly. They'll say it on Reddit and shit. But I think he is probably taking a page out of Trump's book and thinks he can steal all those. Right, which was my point earlier.
Like, I think that's what I'm saying. It's hard for me to believe that you believe this, but maybe you're just trying to tap into a group that does and run with that. Yeah, I don't know, man. It just seems
it's a dangerous game, though.
It's a very dangerous game, bro. Because, like, I feel like he's specifically banking on, I've done this kind of thing before and it always worked out for me. Right. And I'm like, I don't know about this time, bro. Like, I'm like, I don't see how all these fuck brands, people, bro. Like, because I love that question that Lex asked him, like, bro, do you have anyone that you love or trust? He's like, nah, I trust God. I'm like, bro, I think God would still want you to have someone here to fucking trust and love you, man. And it just seems like he's super alone. And bro, he's toxic as fuck. So yeah, maybe Alex or whoever will do an interview with him, but they ain't really trying to co-sign much else until he starts, I would think, acting a little bit more, I don't want to say sane, but just like, you know, like being more aware of what the fuck he's saying. Cause like, that's the part where I'm like, dude, you even realize like the context of what you're saying? Cause sometimes I feel like he just gets a random point off Reddit, to your point, and then just runs with it. It's like, bro, you don't even know the context. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, it's wild. And not to sound like a hedonistic anti-religion person or something, but I don't like that people can use God as a crutch to be like, well, he's telling me to do this, or, you know, if I'm doing it, it's because I'm in God's hands, and whatever happens. Like people say it all the time, like the rappers that fucking go to the hood still and engage with the wrong people. They're like, God got my back. Like I'm good.
It's above me now. Yeah.
Like at a certain point, you have to be realistic about this shit and ask yourself, does this make sense for everyone else? Am I doing the right thing? Because you can't just say, well, you know, this is God's plan. And I think with Kanye, I don't know. He definitely seems lost. I know a couple times he mentioned him, you know, being the bad kid still at like 45 or in detention. And I think he does have like this hunger to be the bad guy because it gives him a challenge to overcome. And to your point, about him not necessarily knowing exactly what he's doing and not necessarily being anti-Semitic. I don't know if you noticed, but I noticed in a lot of these interviews, he kept mentioning Drake's name and using him as an example in a positive way. Like, you know, Drake, you know, Kamala got the black women's vote. Like basically if Drake was running, and then he mentioned Drake a couple times, you know, saying that, you know, he's like one of the pioneers of the culture now and the greatest rapper alive and shit. But in the Lex interview, there was a point where he said it's a war tactic to, he has the ability to make somebody appear cool if he mentions them enough, but their coolness fades out quickly when you overdo it. And he's like, that's a war tactic. So part of me, I had like this aha moment. I'm wondering if for some reason he's trying to do that again with Drake to like get him out of here.
On Drake's dick to make him like almost like toxic by association.
Right, exactly. Like Kanye is the bad guy, but I'm gonna big up Drake, and then like by association, that's gonna somehow like contaminate Drake's reputation or some shit.
Nah, I think when that
I don't think it'll be effective.
Yeah, when that album drops on Friday, I don't think people are gonna
unless Kanye's on it.
Oh yeah, but there's no fucking way. Like
also Drake's Jewish, so like he's good.
Yeah, he's good, bro. Yeah, especially it was Drake's birthday this past Monday or Saturday or whatever. And bro, I guess he rented out a pretty popular restaurant / club in Miami. Bro, if you had like 1,000 followers on TikTok and you were a female, you were at that party, bro. Like only dimes, like everywhere. I was like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like that shit was like 40,000 people. I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, so yeah, complete side note. But yeah, man. Okay, well, time will tell about obviously this whole thing. But I wanted to ask you like one other part that I feel is getting a lot of attention too, and I think you're probably better suited than me and most to make this to comment on this. So, your thoughts on how people in the culture, like black culture, hip hop culture, are like, how come Balenciaga and all these major brands are only canceling Kanye's contracts now, but when he was saying Black lives don't matter and slavery was a choice and all those things, it was all fine? So what are your thoughts that because like people in the black culture saying, hey, what about us? How come because it's Jews now, you're all in uproar? So what are your thoughts? Because I have a couple of thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts.
For me, I think it's pretty simple. I think it's the people in power who give a shit usually aren't, the black folks. Like, I don't think that the Jews or the Chinese or whoever feel the obligation to be offended for another race, but they'll do something if they know it's going to severely impact the company. I think if there was an uproar and black people were like, fuck it, I'm never wearing a Yeezy ever again, or white people said that, then it would change the game. But I think the people in power at Adidas or wherever else just so happen to be Jewish. And if they're not Jewish, whoever they do business with and on a day-to-day, like the people in power are Jewish and they can easily make that call. But like the VP of fucking, I don't know, operations or some shit isn't gonna, if he's black, isn't really gonna do anything. And the guy at top, even if he thinks Kanye's crazy for what he said, isn't gonna feel obligation to do anything if people aren't making enough of a fuss about it.
Yeah, dude, that's my biggest thing. I totally agree with that take. It's like they would have done something if I feel the culture would have turned their backs on him. But like no one did, bro. Like you were at the Drake and Kanye thing. What, that was a couple of years removed from him making some wild ass comments. Like that shit was sold out, bro. Like it wasn't a big deal, quote unquote, right? So I feel like they're only moving by what the culture's saying. Hey, this is toxic, right? So like when he was making his wild ass comments, when he was wearing the MAGA hat, dude, we were still buying Yeezys, bro. We were still consuming Donda, that it was the #1 album on Apple until Drake shit dropped. The people still bought $1 million worth of Sten players, like whatever the case may be. So like, if you're not telling, I feel like, pockets speak, bro. Like if you're still spending, clearly it's not that big of an issue. Because if it was, then dude, the shit wouldn't be flying off the shelves. No one would be going to these shows. Like, so I feel like that's like the difference here. Whereas like he, for whatever reason, affected and made a comment about a certain group of people. I don't think it's about power per se, but just are going to be very vocal if they feel offended. And I just feel like in the other groups that he may have offended, be it transgender or whatever, they weren't really vocal enough, bro. Like, and if they were, their actions didn't display they felt that way, right? You can, if I tell you I fucking hate everything about Blair Randall, but then fucking go stream, ignore me 1,000,000 times, like, how much do I really hate you, bro? You know what I mean? Like, so exactly. Like, that's like the difference I see, where I don't think it's a fair like assessment to say like, oh, this is bullshit. Before, like, he was making fun of like blacks. I'm like, bro, like, he was, and the shit he said was wild, but I don't think enough people either were offended or were just like, oh, that's just Kanye being Kanye, no big deal. Like, they were too dismissive of it. I feel like the history of anti-Semitism throughout the culture of the world, you can't just be like, oh, no big deal, because there's fucking PTSD, and rightly so.
And I think, unfortunately, with slavery, it's kind of almost been played out to this point. Like, there's just such an oversaturation of it that people are kind of desensitized to it. Like, there's like 1 billion movies about it.
I mean, but to his point, there are also like a ton of Holocaust movies. Yeah,
there are that too. But I also forgot, like, I mean, I guess technically slavery wasn't that far behind the Holocaust, but I forget that the Holocaust was in the 20th century, which is insane. And a lot of people still have like grandmothers or great grandmothers and stuff who are literally there or affected by it damn near directly. So I think it hits a bit different for those folks as well.
Like, it's still close to home.
Right. You're like, oh, I'm thinking about my grandma who just fucking made me dinner, and you're talking shit, trying to downplay what she went through. Whereas if someone's talking about slavery, I don't have like a deep connection with my great grandmother who might have been hung or something, because I don't even know necessarily how to identify with that pain outside of, this shit happened before because of the color of someone's skin, and it sucks. And also, I think in terms of slavery and any of these negative comments, like, I've seen even I think Gucci or one of these brands had something that was considered blackface, and like, people still were like, well, fuck it, Gucci's a status symbol. Like, I need to get that. And I think
they gave him a pass.
They gave him a pass.
It was like, it was a random designer. It wasn't the Gucci brand. That's
right.
fine.
They're making excuses.
Right.
But with the Jewish community, who I'm really familiar with, like, they don't have the need to be spending, you know, in any particular area, because they don't have the same, unfortunately, cultural mindset as a lot of people within the Black community. And they're the ones spending like $100,000 on a private bar mitzvah performance or buying Yeezys and shit. So if they are pissed off, like, that's a lot of money just out the window.
Yeah. I mean, the money part's one part, but I feel like just like this, I get the uproar, bro. Like, again, you can't stereotype us because you may have had one bad experience with one specific person who just so happened to be whatever. And now that's like, you feel so comfortable on your massive platform to keep spewing that over and over again, bro. So I feel like that's the difference. Like, it's just, it sucks. But if like one person, if I made a comment that offends someone, but he wants to give me a hug afterwards and buy me dinner, then why would anyone get, you know, like, why would I be moved to like not fuck with you anymore? Right.
Yeah.
Like, so I get if Adidas in the past or whoever signed Kanye is like, bro, like, yeah, maybe I don't agree with those wild comments he made, but clearly not enough people are offended. So at the end of the day, these are like, a lot of me use all the time is like, bro, these are non-for-profit companies. Like, these companies all worry about the bottom line. Like, they sign Kanye to these deals to make money. So if he's no longer seen as a person who's creating wealth for them, just a problem, I can see why they're like, bro, like the return on investment here is really not in your favor anymore. Like, you have to get out of here. Like, that's just business to me.
Right. And another thing I learned that I didn't realize was the case is apparently implying that, you know, Jews were running everything and taking over in Nazi Germany was the propaganda they used to
It's how it started. It's how it started.
And I didn't realize that was the false rumor that was being spread that allowed people to be like, okay, we have to, you know, inflict genocide on them, essentially. So when Kanye does say the Jewish media or whatever, even though, let's say 90% of the executives are Jewish, and some people be like, well, it's a fact. Unfortunately, those labels have had a much more sinister effect on Jewish people.
Oh, dude, horrendous, for sure. Like, horrendous. So again, that PTSD is real. I feel like rightly so. So again, that's why I just think the difference is in like when people like an uproar is like, how come when he said slavery's a choice, no one gave a fuck? It's like, no, people gave a fuck, but not enough where clearly like it was still profitable. And dude, I remember like he said that and then a year later dropped Sunday Service. And it was like, yeah, this guy's doing everything he can for Black. Like it was just so weird. It's like, bro, like he's not being consistent with these takes. So how the fuck can we keep up and try to figure out what makes sense or not?
Yeah, no, honestly, like every time he says something, I'm so confused. Like he'll say something that does make sense, then something that doesn't. And I just have no idea what page he's on. And I don't know if that's part of his scheme. Because, you know, like if someone says a bunch of things that do make sense, you're probably more inclined to agree with the shit that doesn't. So maybe that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, maybe. I think we could end it on this and bring it back to music as we move on the pod. But like, yo, your thoughts on that take he had about the top 3 songs on whatever streaming platform being about like fucking your bitch and killing blah, blah, blah. Like, I get what you're saying, dude, but like, we're also consuming it. Yeah. And we want to consume it. You know what I mean? So I don't think you can get mad at whoever placed those songs there because, bro, I'm looking for that. Bro, like, even if you didn't place it there, I'm looking for that content. So like, you can get mad at the consumer, but like, even in those aspects, I'm like, dude, like, that's what hip hop or certain parts of hip hop's been. So we've said this on multiple occasions, like, bro, there's clearly double standard within the culture, right? We're like, bro, like, how dare you go to a neighborhood and fucking just start shooting people? But bro, that shit's over a fucking Timbaland beat. That shit's gonna sound hard. You know what I mean? Like we know it's a fucking walking contradiction, but to use that as your point as like, this is how they're getting rich off us. I'm like, isn't that how we getting rich off each other? Like,
right. Yeah, that was confusing because it's like he definitely participated in that stuff. Like if this was, I don't know, Lupe Fiasco or like Logic or some shit, maybe, but like a clean cut artist that's like never said the word bitch
never said it,
in a derogatory
never made a
way
beat for a song like that.
Yeah, but I think that's weird. Granted, I know people can mature, but like Kanye has made stuff like that pretty recently.
The Hit Boy song with The Game where he's chopping Pete's head off.
Oh yeah.
Bro, like, what
stuff
are we
like
talking
that.
about, bro?
Right. but to push back, like, but if Kanye were on this podcast, he'd probably say, well, the labels are pushing this onto you and making you think you want it, like a McDonald's burger or sex or porn or whatever the case is. Like,
yeah, dude, but I feel like that's just going against, like, that's also being so dismissive. I get what you're saying, right? Like, we're all a sucker for marketing on a certain extent, right? Like, I see enough fear of God shit. I'm like, oh, I want to rock that, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But at some point, there's so many artists out, bro. You have a choice in what the fuck you do consume to listen. Like, you do have a choice. So I think he's just being too free with the, like, oh, this is them pushing this on us. I'm like, who's them, bro? Like,
right. And that's how I feel about his like abortion argument. Because it definitely is a choice, thankfully, and hopefully stays that way in most places. But I couldn't help but wonder, like, sure, yeah, some of these women might have kept a baby, but how many of those kids would have, you know, been in foster care or have gotten into drugs or, you know, just been completely homeless? I think people forget that, like, yeah, life is beautiful, but at the same time, like, this world is chaotic. And if someone doesn't feel like they can bring life into this world the right way, then at least for me, I don't think it's responsible for them to just be like, all right, like, we need one more extra black or Chinese person or whatever here, so let's just have it.
Yeah. No, dude, dude, yeah, it's that take. I think Lex was trying to, like, say, like, dude, don't you think that's a choice? And, like, Kanye wasn't having it. Again, but that's again, as a Christian man, I know what the Bible says, but that's when, like, some of his takes on, like, Christianity get a little bit, like, out of excessive. I'm like, man, like, to each their own. Like, I don't see, again, I just don't personally see the Holocaust, which was enforced by a regime, and an abortion clinic which you choose to go to as the same. I just personally don't. Maybe I'm on the other side of the fucking pill on that one, but I personally just don't see it as the same thing.
Right.
But yeah, man, he had some wild takes in there, bro. But at the end of the day, like, I think we both agree, putting any kind of stereotype on any kind of, like, group of people is always going to lead to negative backlash. So I'm not saying all this stuff is warranted, that the backlash he's getting, but I feel like you put yourself in that position, bro. Like, if you could have been like, I hate Adam, whatever, he fucking ruined my life, I have receipts, bro, we're going to support you 1000%, bro, because like, even though we could say, bro, read your fucking contract, bro. Like, if you signed, if this comes down to, like, a contract going bad, and that, like, triggered him to go off. But if you're just gonna fucking a wide paintbrush over a bunch of people, that's not cool, bro. Like, if it was like, if you start attacking, like, Indians or Dominican, like, I'm gonna fucking be uproar. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not buying this shit no more. So it's it's hard to have pity for someone. But again, I did feel bad for him though at times, because I'm like, yo, that dude's in pain. And I just think he's just trying to figure out, what can I say here that's going to help me redeem myself, kind of like I did last time, to blow this shit up, to kind of hopefully build it back up. But I feel like he crossed, at least my thoughts today is, I think if he ever comes back, bro, this one's going to take a while. It's not going to be, oh, I'm doing Coachella, come through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, this motherfucker is going to need all the rabbis in the country to get forgiveness. Like, I don't know what he can possibly do at this point. I do think after seeing all the interviews now, like, he dug himself a much deeper hole. The one tweet, I feel like when it comes to tweets and, like, you don't really hear the tone and shit, people kind of dismiss it. Like,
you delete the tweet, bro.
Delete the tweet. You're like, sorry, like, I had too much Henny or some shit.
Yo,
People
make
would
a joke
eventually
about
forget.
it. Yes, I was sleepy. Siri caught me in a bad day. Some shit,
Yeah.
bro. Like, but yeah, man. So again, pray for everyone, healing energy, like our boy Charlemagne the God says. But yeah, it's gonna be hard for him to come back from this one, and I think unfortunately, rightly so. But we'll move on to other news. Focus on what we do best, talking about music. Dude, so funny enough, so you brought the Drake thing, and maybe it is a war tactic. About he at least the interviews I saw, he brought up Drake at least 4 or 5 times, especially the Drink Champs, bro. When he's like on his dick. But so I went to see Pusha T 2 weekends ago, bro. And first of all, it felt like that motherfucker was performing just for me. That shit was a super intimate venue, standing only, bro. Like, yo, remember when I took you to 1-800-LUCKY in Wynwood? And
I believe
like,
so.
DJ booth like right in the middle.
Yeah, and it had like the orange kind of lights or something.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the venue that he performed at was right down the road, slightly bigger than that.
Wow,
bro, crazy.
That's
crazy,
insane.
crazy. And bro, the sound quality, which we always shit on Rolling Loud for, and that's a fucking multi-million-dollar venue, bro. The sound quality of these fucking speakers, bro, he was flawless, bro. Flawless. Like, kudos to Pusha T. I didn't really realize how big of a fan I was, but my bigger point here is going to be Pusha T, who's this fucking phenomenal rapper, probably going to win Album of the Year this year if he submits his album. Your thoughts on Kanye saying, I really wish I would have Drake writing all my songs so my life would be easier. Like, if you're Pusha T, like, how does that fucking make you feel, bro?
Yeah. Well, I think Pusha T knows that, like, Drake's the hit maker. I still don't think Pusha T respects Drake's pen. Like, I don't think he once wishes he could write like Drake. I think he just sees Drake as kind of like a McDonald's machine that anybody would want to use. Like, shit, maybe even Pusha would love to have Drake write a couple hooks, but I don't think he like envies him as a melodic, like, pop star rapper or whatever you want to call it.
Okay. So you think when he hears his, I guess, mentor, best friend saying these comments, he just knows it's tongue in cheek and there's probably some like deeper meaning behind it? Because I'm like, bro, like, if you're my enemy, like, bro, I'd be friends with him. But yo, I'm your fucking ghostwriter, bro. Don't fucking tell the world you rather have this fucking guy who I hate. Like that, like, again, it may just be that Kanye has like another reason for it, but I know, bro, that even if I know that's the reason, that shit's like, come on, bro, really, man? Like,
I feel like Drake has his like own language with his crew. Like half the time when I see Jalen, for instance, post about Kanye, I'm like, what does he know that we don't know? It seems like they just understand something else about him that like we'll never understand unless we're around him or his team,
that's
like 24/7.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, but I just wanted to ask you that, bro, because I was like, it was funny because like I just saw Pusha T, and the next day that Drink Champ thing dropped, and I was like, bro, like if I'm Pusha, who are you talking about, bro? Like, there's no way this guy's better than me. So that was just interesting, bro, because again, I felt like on that Drink Champ, the clips I saw, he brought up Drake like 5 different times.
Yeah, same.
Unprovoked. Like, unprovoked.
That's why I'm like, there's definitely some ulterior motive for this. Like, he's not just handing out free compliments like that.
Yeah. So do you think the ulterior motive is like, if I gas him up so much, he's gonna probably think he is the greatest of all time and like start dropping the ball and not try as hard?
No, I think more so like maybe butter him up so that behind the scenes he can like just bring him closer for some other reason and just like I don't know if the whole him finding out about his baby and shit is true, but I feel like it's some sort of lure to be like, oh, Kanye's really, I can trust him. Maybe Kanye doesn't trust anyone because he knows like he shouldn't be trusted. So I'm like, what projecting or some shit? Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be, but that was interesting. But yeah, if anyone hasn't seen Pusha T and Tour, I highly recommend that shit, bro. Dude, and he went on like the concert started at 8. IDK did a full 35-minute set. Very good. Dude, Pusha T was on stage by 9:15. done by 10:30, bro.
Wow.
I was in bed by 11:15. I was like, this is a phenomenal Sunday night. Like, I was like, yo, because I just assumed, dude, an artist of that level, he ain't gonna come on stage till 10:30. He'll stay till midnight. You're not gonna get out of there. It's like 1. I was like, bro, this is gonna be a long fucking night. And then, dude, it was, perfect.
No, I feel like artists like him, like even Lupe, I think they're there to do their job and get out. Whereas like these other young dudes,
quote unquote
mumble rappers, they want to party. They're getting drunk, fucking 30 minutes late. They got 50 of their homies on stage and shit.
Yeah, so I told my boy, he was like, yo, it's already done. I'm like, bro, that guy's a married man with children. He needs to go home, bro.
Right? He probably had his fucking do his laundry and shit.
Yeah, I think he actually might live in Miami, so I think he was just literally going home. But definitely shout out to him. Great show. Highly recommend it if he's in your city to go peep that. All right, man, before we get to some the last news before Heat of the Week, I know we wanted to talk about Akademiks hopping on the Fresh and Fit podcast. I want to say 2 weeks ago, I feel like this shit didn't get a lot of news only because the obvious, like Kanye is just taking over any part of media right now. But if you want to give light onto exactly what Akademiks was up to on that episode of Fresh and Fit.
Yeah. I don't really have the context on why Akademiks was on the episode, but he's kind of been intermingled with this red pill community, which is basically like a self-help guide for men, especially with dating. So he's on the Fresh and Fit podcast talking to a group of women, and he's going at it.
They always have women on, right? They always have like OnlyFans girls or just like models or whatever, right?
Yeah. And if they don't, it's like a special episode where they're only talking to like Andrew Tate or some other guests. But for the most part, it's this like round table of women, and Akademiks is going at it with this one woman, basically making fun of her deep voice, because they don't want to admit it, but like part of the allure of the show and entertainment is just bashing the women on there, and which in my opinion is kind of, it is degrading, because they purposely choose women that are easy to fucking make fun of. Like, why are you hiring these quote unquote dots who like have no value to add, and then these are representative of the women that, you know, people should look out for and shit, or like, you know, representative of the typical problems. But anyways, Akademiks is making fun of her deep voice, as is the other guy, Sneeko. And she's basically unbothered, and she's like, well, you're fat, and then, you know, like, do whatever you want. And he just flips out and starts,
loses his mind, bro.
Loses his mind. He's like, you wish you were with me. Essentially, I got more money than any dude you've ever been with, your boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. Then the girl next to him catches a stray, and he's like, my boy said your pussy's loose, and just flips out.
Wild.
And I'm like, bro, like, I get it, but at the same time, it just kind of proves that the people within this community, I don't know if Akademiks would claim he's part of it, but the people within this community have fragile egos and aren't as emotionless as they claim to be. A lot of times,
and all those like self-help things kind of go out the window when they are ever fucking like pushed.
Right. You know, it's like when someone's like, I don't care what you think or whatever, but then they keep responding to you and this and that. And it's like, well, clearly you do give a fuck. And what I commended her for was, I don't know her as a person, but she was just like, she like literally didn't care. And you could tell. And unfortunately, she got to the best of Akademiks. And I feel like his reaction is kind of how a lot of people within that community feel. I feel like there's some like hidden resentment, you know, that some women or existing women aren't giving them what they desire, and they may low-key desire these kind of women, especially like the toxic ones. So when they hear those words, it just sets off this fire, and they're like, I hate you, and I'm just gonna attack you personally. Like, every bit of logic is out the window.
Yeah, dude. And then this is like, I think almost a week after they caught him on video at a hotel talking and screaming at some girl, like aggressively. I'm not going to say hit her, but definitely like had his hands on her.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know, bro. Like, again, I don't think again, he picked the perfect week to do some shit because no one's really talking about it. But bro, that was a bad look, bro. Because even, and God rested his soul, like Kevin Samuels never really popped off on a female the way that act was doing it, bro. Because this shit was like vicious attacks about a person's appearance, but even about shit he didn't even know about. He was making a bunch of fucking like conclusions and assumptions. Like, bro, like what is this based off? Like, because she has a deep voice. Like, okay, like that's you know her whole life now because she has a deep voice. That makes no sense.
Well, Kevin has popped off, but he did it. It was like an aggressive way to, I guess, teach a lesson to the girl, like as far as why she can't get a man or why the dude can't get a man. He'd be like, "Oh, you're fat," or like, "You can't see your dick." Like that's why.
Right. But I would say that would still be based off something in a conversation, though. This was simply like, "Oh wow, like why you got a deep voice like that? Like shit, like you a dude?" And it's like, "Oh what? Like what the fuck are you talking about, bro?" Like that was more so like what caught me off guard. And I think a great point that the video we saw is that I think that whoever the guy was to her right kind of started like defending her and was like, "Bro, like you're good, bro. Like to act like let's whatever, straight, like let's move on." And then like Akademiks purposely didn't say a goddamn thing to him. And it's like, bro, like if you're this tough, fucking tell him to go shut the fuck up as well then. Like, but you didn't do that. So that's where I'm like, bro, like you come across real fucking suspect. And it's like, if that's like more of us like seeing behind the curtains of who he is, I mean, bro, like I'm not gonna say people are gonna stop fucking with him and looking at his blogs for like number updates and shit like that, and I'm sure he's gonna keep making money, but I don't know, man, like he didn't really offer me much anyway. You know what I mean? I'm never going to Akademiks for insight. I'm really going to him like, yo, what are the numbers first week? Like, bro, that's the end of it. So I feel like when you really don't offer that much value to overall society, it's kind of hard for me to think you're going to keep getting a pass. Like, I feel like he's getting a pass right now because maybe not enough people saw it. It was behind a Patreon wall, the original episode, and it happened a week where everyone in the world is talking about Kanye West. Yeah. But I feel like it was a slow week in hip hop, bro. They're coming for this dude.
Yeah. It was tough for me to see because, I mean, I definitely did follow Akademiks before he became like super mainstream. And like, it is nice to know, not know, but be aware of someone's come up and see them like thrive even through all like the hate of these rappers, especially because I feel like in some ways I can identify more with Akademiks than some of the rappers because like he went to college and shit like that. And he's not like, you know, a super street dude or anything. But at the same time,
he's being very adamant about, I don't kill people. Like,
very adamant about it. But he does. I mean, he has built a lot of success on being that funny guy who's not afraid to say super hyperbolic, crazy shit. But at the same time, I think his success, like he's gotten so much hate, and at this level, especially, I think he does kind of has a chip on his shoulder. And, you know, a lot of the girls that didn't give him attention before are giving him attention. I think it's almost like some sort of vindictive vengeance play of like, fuck you, bitch. Like, look who's got you know, the upper hand now. I got the money. And what pains me though is still when I see these podcasts like Fresh and Fit, I'm like, and Akademiks, his quote unquote fight video, I'm like, why are you guys messing with these kinds of girls? Like the trashiest, most basic girls ever. And then you wonder why they fit the whole checklist of like, you know, the stereotypical bad things women do, like gold diggers, you know, will suck your dick just to get on a yacht and all this stuff. But low key, those are the ones they want. And that's why they love their wealth and shit. High key, yeah. Like they want those kinds of girls that have like no self-respect and will, you know, blow them for fucking a bottle at the club. But then they get mad as soon as some shit pops off.
If they ever have an opinion about something, they lose their mind. Right. So yeah, dude, I feel you. And yeah, dude, his come up has been wild, and you know, kudos for him for all the success. But you know, do this with the LL Cool J shit like a couple weeks ago back, and it's just like, I don't know, bro. Like, I'm not saying his time is up, but I don't know how many more passes gonna get, bro. Because if these things start becoming more mainstream and like, dude, like if Charlemagne the God does like a donkey of the day one week and it's him, bro, that's all you need for your shit to start going left. So I know I feel like he needs to have someone in his corner be like, fam, like you got a Spotify deal, you doing crazy numbers on Twitch. Yeah, you're rich, bro, from fucking talking hip hop. Like, bro, like enjoy this shit. Like, you don't have to be whatever like Napoleon complex you think you may have. Like, it's not needed. Yeah,
no, I mean, I think people have and will always consider him like he's like the kid on the block that has everything that no one likes, but they'll hang out with him because he's got the new Xbox and shit.
Yeah,
like that kid, unfortunately. So I think he'll always be here unless he literally does hit a woman or he takes Kanye's advice and goes that route on some like when he said stuff about Chrissy Teigen, like he just has to piss off someone super powerful.
Yeah, bro, fuck, I forgot about that.
Like that's the kind of shit. I think he has to piss off, you know, someone way up there, not Lil Baby, not Charlemagne, like someone way up there.
That's a great point. I forgot about that. That's what got him suspended off Complex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, but they didn't even fire him.
You could tell he was
that.
shook though. But you could tell he was like, "Fuck, I can't say certain things."
Yeah, because I'm sure I know the show stopped. But I'm sure Complex money was good money at the time. But yeah, again, hopefully people do better. But that red pill thing was definitely a point I wanted to get to. So before we get to Heat of the Week. The big news from last weekend that Blair sent to me, and I completely sent it right back to him because I was incredibly intoxicated when he texted me. 21 Savage and Drake dropping a collab album, Her Loss. So your thoughts on that? And then do we consider this a trilogy? It's a third album that we weren't aware of that we were getting in the space of a year and a half that he was always planning to put together?
For me, I personally wouldn't, because I feel like Drake, when it comes to like an actual album, I feel like he treats them, there's a very obvious energy difference on how he treats them. Like CLB, I felt like it was like, this is me, I'm back. It's like only about me. Whereas honestly, Nevermind felt like hey, you know, have a nice summer. Here's some new shit I was doing. And then this just feels like, I want to put out good music, you know, who's someone I have good chemistry with in the studio. And they're just like, fuck it. You know, there was no, in my opinion, like ever since the second half, I don't think there was a ton of good music. So I'm really excited to see what this is. But if 21 says anything about fucking putting the guns up, like fuck that tweet he sent out about putting the guns down. I can't believe it.
I mean, it's gonna be good though, bro. I feel like this one's like there's no way it's gonna be bad. Now, to what level? Well, obviously that's the intriguing part, and we'll listen to it. But again, Jimmy Cook's, whatever, like the final version of that song title, it was too good. So if this is like 7 songs of just that, dude, I'm all for it. And I love the way they teased they announced it, right? Because I thought we were gonna get like a full video. And then it's just like the announcement. I'm like, bro, that's pretty, on a Friday night when you're just at home drinking, that's like a pretty dope moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100% agreed.
We also have some other new music coming out this coming Friday. Dropping a brand new album. So I was telling you offline, my biggest fear is that, you know, God rest the dead, but like with Pop Smoke and also with Juice WRLD's last album, it's like, I appreciate how hard they work and you have all this content and he has, you know, day one fans that probably want to listen to it, but it's like, man, like, you know, it's going to be like the wildest features that just don't make sense. Yeah. And for whatever reason, again, kudos to his work ethic, it's going to be like 20 songs. So it's like, man, like, come on, man, you're putting out 20 songs that he probably didn't want to get put out in the first place. Hence they were on some like G drive on his fucking Dell computer, as opposed to him pushing to get that out like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. And I think it also hits different when like the majority of his music is about him like overdosing and hating life and shit. Whereas like Pop Smoke and some of these other guys, like a lot of times it'll be party music and you almost feel like, oh, at least they were happy in this moment, or, you know, I forgot they passed. But like with Juice WRLD, it's almost like you're hearing his spirit still like cry out for help or some shit.
Yeah, 100%, dude. So that's like, I'm gonna hear it because again, he's just so talented. But this has to be like a Monday or Tuesday listen, because I feel like this is gonna be a very depressing album if you listen to like all weekend long.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
And then one more album that I'm excited about, but we'll have plenty more time to talk about. I guess 2 more weeks. But King Disease 3, Nas and Hit Boy, 1111. Bro, this is a trilogy that I'm here for. Like, fully here for.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know. Their chemistry is amazing. I know we were texting about it, but I feel like at this point, Nas is like, damn, I wish Hit Boy was around back then. He's just trying to replace his whole fucking catalog.
Yo, what if he went back and I guess some of his albums are too classic, but like if he went back on albums and just like redid the beats,
it?
Yeah, dude, that'd be fucking wild.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. I feel like beats are obviously a huge part of the song, and he's been criticized a million times for
the worst beat selection.
Yeah, beat selector. So maybe that shit's getting to him, and he's like, "Fuck it, I need to reinvent myself." But it's working for me at least.
It's working. It's working, bro. I never thought I'd be so excited to hear a 54-year-old rapper give me 10 songs, and bro, like
he's 54.
Yeah, bro. They're like
shit.
Or maybe he just turned 50 or some shit. But yeah, he's up there.
Either way, like
if Kanye's 45.
Yeah, Nas is definitely older than, so yeah.
Right.
He must be like 50 something.
At least 50, bro. There's no way he's not 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch someone in the comments like he's 47, you fucks. Either way, though, I never thought I'd be this excited to hear an older rapper. So yeah, we'll definitely have a whole thing on that album when it drops. But awesome news. Get to the heat of the week. Again, this is gonna be another segment where we try to bring you a song, maybe new or old, but also go over the video and just try to get some insight on like what the artist was thinking and doing at the time, and if there's any cameos that really stick out. So let the people know which song we picked for the week.
Yeah, so before we get started, this song is a new song by an artist by the name of Sofago called Hell Yeah, featuring Ken Carson. For those who don't know, I believe he's signed to Travis Scott's Cactus Jack label, up-and-coming artist. It's kind of got like a Trippie Redd, Lil Uzi Vert kind of vibe to it, even like Playboi Carti-ish. I guess you would call it rage music, rage rap.
I would call it rage
term
rap.
Is.
That was probably
super synthesized,
super
auto-tuning stuff. Yeah.
Super auto-tuning.
Yeah. Like hardcore auto-tune. Like it could be ear piercing at times, but
yes,
I don't know. I just thought the video was shot very well. I didn't know anything about this dude, but so I kept seeing his name pop up.
Yeah, how'd you come across him?
Yeah, so I mean, as you know, like the YouTube algorithm will just show you a ton of shit, and I follow a lot of like Akademiks type pages and stuff that just talk about things within hip hop, and saw his name on a couple videos, but never really paid attention to him because I didn't know who he was.
Right.
One day I was just like, let me just hear one of his songs, and it just so happened this was the newest one, and I was like, oh shit, like this one's actually super dope. Kind of could see Travis Scott even on this, and I think that also that kind of bias.
Yeah, that cosign really just like, well, fuck it, he likes it.
Yeah, yep. So that's how we ended up here.
Cool. All right, bro. Let's. You want to hit play, and then we can stop start along the way if anything like kind of like stands out.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. I'll click it right. 3, 2, 1.
So you see the Cactus Jack at the top of the building.
Yeah.
So that makes you feel super hype, like from the jump.
Yeah.
It's almost like anime-ish though. Those parts through the city.
Yep.
Which, yeah, I'm not a big anime guy, but I feel like that's, for whatever reason, super popular again.
Especially within like the rage music scene.
Correct. And then to be fair, I feel like Kanye really was the first one to ever even do that shit. And it's popular again now.
Yep.
Kudos to him. But honestly, the video itself is like super like, I don't want to say basic hip hop, but like stereotypical what you would think of hip hop, like, get some fast cars and like get money, right? Because lyrically, he's not. It's a very good song, bro, and it should be Heat of the Week nominee. Yeah, but he's not saying anything that's gonna go over the top of your head like crazy.
Right. And what's crazy is the part where the car's doing the donuts.
Yeah.
That's Sepulveda, which is the street I used to always drive. And a lot of people drive to go from West LA to the Valley in LA.
Okay.
So it's like the alternative to the freeway, basically.
Got it.
And it's always, not always, but at late at night it's pretty much damn near empty except for coyotes.
All right. A lot of basketball references, so that was cool to me. So if you see that the basketball player with him at like the 135 point, that actually was Drake's stepson.
Oh, for real?
That's the woman that was the son that he would go see play high school basketball in LA.
Oh,
so that's,
right.
That's
okay.
Amari,
yeah,
who's committed to UCLA, and his mom was dating Drake allegedly for like two years and stuff.
Got it. Yeah. I remember seeing something about that in the comments.
Yeah, but what's wild is like, yo, it just seems like clearly there's a fan base here, right? Like, which is what I appreciate, like finding new artists to do. Like, this video has done 500,000 views in 7 days. Like, dude, I know they post, everyone posts with money, but like, I almost believe these kids. It's like, yo, I believe that's all your money.
I know. That's what's wild. I was thinking about that too. I'm like, how much of this is actually real?
Yeah, dude. Like, I feel like all of it, which is, again, it's almost like you look at yourself and like, what the fuck am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
But, again,
and to be clear, I don't think any of the money in the video is real, but you would assume that their bank accounts.
They're getting money though.
Yeah, 100%. But they're also probably spending that shit in one day.
Yeah, and then you don't know what.
See, he said that money getting spent, so we didn't even have to speculate.
Yeah, but definitely Rage Music. I guess he's dropping an album soon called Pink Hearts. But yeah, dude, I think it's good find for sure. And sometimes you just need to have like a simple song and a simple visual when you're trying to get turned up, which is, again, I feel like this is a song that would do very well at a festival, right? Like a song that you're turned up the whole day, you're wasted at this point under a bunch of other influences, and like, again, because that noise is piercing at times. So like, it's not even like I don't want to call it mumble rap, but it's almost like inaudible. It's like, I don't know what he's saying, but I know everyone's hyped, so let's just fucking keep going crazy.
Yeah, no, I think that's why when it comes to, I guess, rage hip hop or rage music, there's like a very select few amount of songs that I can listen to because it's just like all synthesized. You damn near might as well like cut a wire and just have the electricity pop in and fucking put it right in your ear. Like sometimes I swear that's like how it sounds, but this shit was clean. The chorus was simple, nice. The visuals again were simple and dope. They didn't have anything like fucking guns and shit that I normally see.
Right.
In a lot of these young dudes videos, which is nice. Like they're just having fun with the cars and the fans at a gas station or whatever.
And they're talking about like getting girls. So like at some point you also need to let kids be kids. So which is it's hard to be super critical, especially when they're not doing anything remotely violent or even alluding to it with their actions. So that's right. Yeah. So Fago, hell yeah. So this was to Blair's point offline. He told me, so this was a song used in the Beats by Dre commercial with Bronny James and LeBron James. So I take back my comment though from earlier that commercial wasn't corny. So I watched it again. That commercial is corny as fuck because they think, so they have LeBron James with the beats listening to classical music. Bro, there's no fucking way. And this is not me stereotyping, bro. In all the IG lives for the last 4 years,
I was about to say,
that motherfucker is never playing Mozart. It's like, it's Mobb Deep to Pop Smoke to it's everything but classical. So for me to believe that shit, I'm like, bro, you are lying, bro. Like,
no, they definitely made that commercial for boomers who like don't know any better. But you and I know this motherfucker's listening to Chief Keef, whoever else. That would have made way more sense. But it's weird because they're not marketing this shit to 58-year-olds.
But I think what for the struggle for them, and I get it, it's like, how do you draw a clear line in the sand, like this is an older person and a younger person, right? Because if you just have him listening to Nipsey and then his son listening to this, like, yeah, there's a 10-year gap, but like that Venn diagram of people who listen to both is pretty big. So like,
I don't know a single fucking person on the planet that listens to classical music if they're not studying.
Bro, like, you want to hoop in that? Yo, you're lying to us, bro. Like So yeah, I take back my line about it because LeBron is corny, but again, shout outs to him having his son in the video. But great find, dude. Great episode. Hopefully we don't get canceled for any comments. I think we were pretty on point and honest.
I don't know. I'm shook.
That's fine, dude. We're gonna really push the whole Akademiks video. Don't worry about it. But we're good, dude. So let the people know what we got going on. Let's get out of here.
Yes, sir. I think we have a couple candidates potential for interviews, but
yeah, we'll definitely have at least, I would say, if not two, at least one before the year's up. Obviously, the holidays coming and all that stuff, but yeah, we'll get that done.
Yeah, but for sure, outside of that, obviously, more episodes in the works. I'm sure we'll probably brainstorm some other cool things we could do with the pod come 2023 when planning for that comes around. But yeah, outside of that, check us out at audio-theory.com. New episode every week, unless we're out of town. Merch is up, Spotify and Apple Music playlist as well. And yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, share, donate. Yeah, we just need to come up with one word that encapsulates everything. Like, share. With
what if that's like what we get viral for? It's like, who created this new lingo?
Just have like one button that fucking does everything.
Yo, fire! That could be our fucking moneymaker.
Yeah.
All right, my dude. But I appreciate you. Obviously, we'll talk offline, and obviously, we'll definitely have an episode before you bounce to Korea. So I'll pick your brain some more about that.
Yes, sir.
Peace, bro. Love you.
Peace. Love you too.